Okay, today I have Victrola 50, serial number 12432, 12,432. That is 1921, first year of issue for the Victrola 50 Portable, which was Victor Victrola's first portable phonograph. As you can see, it is quarter sawn oak finish. There were two choices, mahogany and oak. This is the oak. And the way these were constructed was solid panels on the side. Top and bottom are veneer. This is an original machine. The finish is entirely original. I've gone over it with a little bit of furniture polish just to clean it up, but that's it. The nickel plating is original. It's at about, I would say, 60%. Little patina still on there. I left it alone. I haven't touched it. I try to leave original machines as original as possible where I can. This one definitely could. It's got a few little, little scrape, little ding, whatever. That's fine. That's typical age. Now, it has received a brand new spring. Because springs grow weak with age, sometimes they break. In this case, it just grew weak and it wouldn't play the records properly, so I replaced it. Brand new replacement spring in there. The reproducer, which in this case has been upgraded to the Victrola number 2 at some point in this machine's life, has been rebuilt with new gaskets, new mica, new back gasket. It's fully tuned and playing very nicely. The tone arm, which is original, I haven't done anything to it except to adjust it. It's been greased here, here to seal it up, and it's been adjusted. Notice it's not flopping around loose and nasty anymore. Now this is the first version of the Victor Victrola 50. That means that the crank is here instead of here. This is the first version, which is just using an original Victor 4, the little Victor tabletop Model 4. It's using that motor. Later on, they changed the motor a little bit, and the crank moves over here. Doesn't really make much difference. This machine also has the original crank. Why is this important? Very simple. One, it has to fit under the clips of the lid, which only the original crank will do. And second, notice it does not extend so far down that it hits the top of the table. So that when you're cranking, your knuckles can clear the tabletop. There you go. Original crank, which isn't always found with these machines, and this one actually has it. Now, when you play a record on a Victor Victrola, always make sure you use a new needle for each play of the record. Because these needles, they come 100 per pack. This is a loud tone. I'm using this for demonstration purposes, but if you use this indoors, you might want a lower tone needle, play a little volume a little softer, because these will play very loudly, and there's no volume control on them. 100 per pack is about anywhere from $3 to $5. Needles are not expensive. Records, as you can see, this one is the Volunteers March by the Victor Military Band. Records are irreplaceable. When they're worn out, that's it, they're done. Nobody is making any more of them. And if you use a used needle on there, you will begin to cut the grooves and destroy the record sound, so don't do that. And that's also best with a machine of this age. This is an acoustic machine, not electric, is to play the acoustic records, the ones made before 1935. The ones made after 35 no longer have the grit built into the material of the record that's made to wear the needle. So what happens is the needle begins to wear the record, because those records were made for an electric stylus, much lighter, very tiny needle, sapphire tip needle, totally different animal. Yes, they will play on this machine, but they will be destroyed if you keep playing them. This record is made to play on this machine. It's an original, probably about 1918. I haven't dated that one. Really easy to put a new needle in there. Just drop it right in like that. Tighten down a little thumb screw, just snug it. Don't get Hercules on it, although you will snap it. Now you crank the machine up. See how my knuckles clear the table? That's what you want them to do. There. I'm feeling a little bit of resistance right there. That's as far as you go. You don't want to over crank a Victrola because you can snap a spring. You can damage the attaching hardware inside the spring drum. Don't do that. Just crank it till you feel some resistance, then stop. There's enough power in the new spring generally to play both sides of one record. That's normal. What I like to do is play one side, crank it up, play the other side, crank it, and just keep doing that so you always have enough power. But a new spring will play both sides. Okay, release the brake. See how it spins right up? That's a sign of a healthy, well-adjusted motor with a brand new spring. Now, older springs will spin a motor. Yes, they will, but they're a little bit old because they're old, they're weak, and sometimes you got to help it along a little bit to get it to move. New springs are easier, especially in a single spring motor. Multi-spring motors, generally you can get away with the older springs, they have enough power. And here we go, let's see how she sounds.
And there you have it. Remember to always dispose of your old needle right away. Don't ever leave it in the reproducer, because what can happen is that needle can stab into the cover when you close it. And always play a VV-50, obviously, because if you try to close this when it's playing, you're going to hit the reproducer and ruin it. Always play it with the lid up, because the lid is actually part of the horn. If you notice, I don't know if it'll come up with the camera, but there is a shape for this lid inside. And that is to direct sound out of the horn, and it's part of, so don't play it with the lid wide open. Always leave it on its catch right here. Make sure it stays just like that. Never let it flop open, because you can break it doing that, and you ruin the sound of the machine. And that's it. That's what our Victrola sounds like when it's been fully serviced. That's what it sounded like in 1921 with the original records, which this is. That's what it sounds like today. The original Victor Victrola oak finish Victrola 50. Okay, and that again is 12,432.